We are now live. Yay!
Hey!
And this is going to sound awful. Updated my stuff. Oh, that is going to sound terrible.
Oh.
Yeah. Drop that down. Oh, yes.
Sorry, that was me.
A little bit of a reverb. Is that me?
No, that was me. I had my volume on.
Fair enough. Well, we're back, kids. Welcome along. I was going to insist to everybody that we all have a cup of tea to hand for a cup of tea with Englishman in San Diego, but I often forget, so I haven't insisted. We are having one or two technical issues. We're kind of struggling to get Jasmine involved, but Alyssa is talking her through at the moment.
Well, I'm trying to.
You see, in my emails to her, I made it sound so easy. There we go. The YouTube chat room, of course, is up and running, so please do jump on there and say hi. Gold to hand. Well done, Graham. Congratulations as well. Craig Linders, greetings and happy new year from South Dakota. Indeed, happy new year, everybody. Still in single digits in January, which means it's not uncomfortable to say happy new year to everybody, considering that, well, there is that moment when it's uncomfortable to say happy new year, which I suspect is going to be 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. But there we go. But people are jumping along. Please, you've got yourself a couple of minutes. Do spread the word. Let everyone know that we're back for 2017. Yes, the tweet at the top of my account. You can just reshare that if needs be, or there's the event on the Facebook page. Just let everyone know where you're going to be at for the next hour, which is with us. Andy's with us. Hello, Andy Beback. How are you doing, sir? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to Michael P. from Colorado Springs.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from Alyssa Franks. Yeah, never mind. Dan Berry's here. Hello, Dan. From chilly San Diego. It's under 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Just back from rewatching Rogue One in IMAX 3D, says Graham. Better second time around. I agree. I also agree that you don't get distracted by Talkin as much, and you just embrace it as a character. It just works. Aaron Neighbors is here, making me feel very fat and unfit. Thanks, mate. He's been sharing all his healthy eating, and my word, that makes me feel so much better about myself. Because I've been eating nothing but junk for the last 3 weeks.
Hey, it's all about what you do tomorrow, Leonard. And not about what you did yesterday. It's about what you choose to do tomorrow.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Grasshopper.
I was all disappointed with myself because I thought I gained like 5 pounds over December, but weighed myself today and realized that I wasn't quite that bad. So I was very encouraged. Okay.
Hey, Jasmine's here.
Yay!
It's the people on the video.
Have we got sound from Jasmine?
Oh, this doesn't work.
Oh, we've got a fan.
There we go. Okay.
Can you talk on it?
Can you guys hear me? Okay,
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, have you been having technical assistance from somebody?
No, it's fine. Sorry, my computer wasn't working. I don't know what it was doing. Thank you.
Have you been having technical assistance from someone?
Yes. All right. Here we go.
Excellent. Oh, man. So, yeah, we're at 29. How about that for timing? 27 seconds away.
Perfect. Whew. I was like, I'm going to be late for my first show.
Right. I've got me tea, and my word, I could do with a slurp from it. It's been one of those days. Excellent. Right. So yeah, the countdown. I'm going to revamp the countdown in the next couple of episodes, just to kind of do some bits and pieces to it. So do bear with us when it comes to the countdown. But there we go. We're done and dusted, and which means we can close that down. Close that down. It's all nicely settled out because we've got the chat room there. We've got my window there. We're sorted. Hello there. Well, I can put that in. I think that might be helpful. No, I've got a couple of things I need to get sorted. I'm so glad that Aaron Neighbours is here. One of the first big contributions that I got given by fandom was Aaron got me a. I think it was Aaron. No, it might have been somebody else. I may be crediting somebody else. I think I know it was as well. But they got me a blue microphone, which never ever worked with this laptop. That's my mission over the next couple of weeks, to get my blue microphone working. So there's that. But yeah, we got that. We've got the countdown sorted. But just be grateful that we're here. That's all I can say, considering that I did take a bit of effort to get back into speed with the whole thing after a nice little breakaway. I know I really upset Alyssa by not doing a show on New Year's Day, not doing something on Christmas Day either, or let's just have a break for the festive season. But we're back now. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Welcome to Talkin Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. Each and every Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT, we talk con culture. We talk all the stuff that appears at conventions. We have a bit of a roundtable thing, and of course everyone jumps in with conversations about stuff that you want to talk about. You can do that by using the hashtag #CupOTSDCC, or you can go to the YouTube chat room and just jump in with any questions, anything that you want to talk about in terms of our topics today, which we've got ourselves a couple. We are certainly going to be talking about CCI and what they've got planned, considering that their social media engine is now starting to whir back into life. And we are going to be talking as well about Phoenix Comicon. We could be talking as well about Wizard World, which is taking place this weekend in New Orleans, but I don't think we've got a representative there. So unfortunately, we can't do a live report, but certainly we're keeping an eye on the bits and pieces that's happening at Wizard World. But we have a couple of guests which I want to introduce first. First and foremost, my partner in crime, Alyssa Franks, is joining us. Hello, Alyssa. How are you?
I'm well. I survived Christmas. It's cold here. We don't have a lot of snow, but I'm, doing well. Doing well. So, good. How was your Christmas, Leonard?
It was fun. It was hard work because. As per usual, I work as a DJ. I work a lot, as you can imagine, over the festive season, which means from around the third week in November to about now, the last couple of 6 to 8 weeks have been a bit of a blur. I can't remember a great deal of it. And all I can remember is now just the presents that I got, which are piled nicely. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit.
And the happy bank account.
Happy bank account? Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, no, with lots of work, I was thinking.
Oh, no, because it all gets spent on presents and booze and turkeys, multiple turkeys. So, no, it works like that. So, no, but it's good to hear you had a good festive season. Happy New Year to you as well. Hope that went well. Did you bring in the New Year with family and friends?
I did not. I stayed home and actually caught up on Luke Cage, which I never watched. I know, I'm admitting it. I got to episode 7.
That's not what I'm laughing at. It's more about that's how you spent your New Year.
Yes. Well, I had a 17-year-old in the house, and so because so that was what I chose to do. I suppose I could have gone out and watched fireworks and the like, but I decided not to. I think I was one of those people that was in bed by 10.
Fair enough. I was in the company of people old. We'll move on. We'll just move on. And we've got ourselves another guest, first timer on the Hangout. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. This is Jasmine from superheroes.xyz.
Hi, guys.
Is that right? How are you doing, Jasmine?
I'm doing great. Doing great so far.
You're looking a little bit nervous.
I am.
Don't be scared. We're fine. It's a safe space. Don't worry about it.
That works. That works.
Myself and Jasmine have spoken a number of times on Twitter. She's a great follow if you get the chance. That's superheroes.xyz on Twitter. Great account. But this is the first time we've had her on the show. And I know that she's also interested in starting her own podcast. So we want you to be, this is the audience now, we want you to be critical. We want you to be highly analytical of her performance. We want you to judge her on form, vocal skills, just the usual stuff.
Perfect.
Basically everything I'm crap at, she's going to be great at. So this is going to be great. And so that's an awful lot. So don't worry about it. So yeah, thank you very much indeed for joining us. I suppose the best thing to start with is introduce yourself. I mean, what's your take on fandom and what your con history? Tell us about yourself.
Okay, so Jasmine from superheroes.xyz. I started going to San Diego Comic-Con in 2006 and volunteering and tried to attend. I started going to the Phoenix Comicon in 2014 and more recently like the Amazing Arizona Comic-Con. My dad got me into the geeky fandom, Stargate, Star Trek. He loves Star Trek. So just kind of went from there, and then I recently got into superheroes and comics and then art. So it's like ever-changing fandom and Comic-Cons. I always get into something new every year, so I'm pretty excited. And then best of yet, from becoming a blogger, like meeting all you guys, you know, the fans and stuff. I really enjoyed connecting with them, even though I'm socially awkward sometimes, but it's been really fun so far.
How long has Superheroes been going now?
I just made my 2nd year anniversary this month, because I started it back in 2015. So I'm going on my 3rd year now. So I'm hoping to change some things up and move forward and bring some better stuff to you guys. So I'm excited.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, that's fantastic. I mean, we've got Dan Berry saying, oh no, that's Andy, I love your post for HH. I've had 1 or 2 people on Instagram and Twitter saying, really excited to have you on, Jasmine. So excellent.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brilliant. No, looking forward to hearing about, certainly about your experience with Phoenix as well, and talking about how there's certainly the news that's come over the last couple of weeks. So we'll get to that in a minute. I think we'll start, I suppose, just to go back to Christmas. One thing we wanted to talk about was geeky presents and what we kind of got in our Santa's sack. What was your geekiest present, Jasmine?
The Star Trek shirt for once. I got a Black Widow shirt, Rocket Raccoon and Groot. So kind of updated my geeky wardrobe a little for my sister. So I was pretty excited about that. And Supernatural calendar, can't forget my boys, to help me with the new year. So, and some coloring books. So that was cool. Star Wars, so it's cool. So yeah, that was
it sounds like your fandom is all over the place. It's fantastic.
It is. It is.
I mean, brilliant. So I mean, your modern con culture con, it's perfect for you because you can sort of like disappear in all sorts of corners.
Everything. So it's nice. It's nice.
Excellent. Yourself, Alyssa, what was your geeky present of the year?
I actually was able to get that Commandi book that I had wanted. It's the Jack Kirby book that, and of course I'm going to show it off because I can. It's in a large format, and of course, you know, it's the art that I will never be able to afford. Well, this page, I think, one of these, I think this page here goes for probably $20,000 or $30,000 if you were to get the first print of it. So
wow.
In these artist edition books, it's a nice, affordable way of getting a whole bunch of art that I can just appreciate and read. So that's my biggest geek present. The other things I got was a sleeping pad for Hall H. Lines. Oh, it's a 1 pound thing. I swear this thing is about this big, and a new chair.
You really are preparing, aren't you? You're getting into it now.
I am. Well, it was my first time sleeping out in the Hall H line last year. Even though I've been to a number of San Diego lines before, I had never actually spent the night outside. And it became evident that that's what I really need to get at least get 4 hours in. If I get 4 hours in, I'm fine for the day. So that was my must have, and the fact that it's 1 pound and that big, that was the kicker for me to actually put it on my list. And what'd you get, Leonard?
Well, I got myself a Rogue One t-shirt. I got myself some Star Wars glasses. But I think my favorite present that I got was a replacement for a book, which is I Don't Want to Damage. Back in the day, I did get the first edition hardback of Arkham Asylum from Grant Morrison and Dave McKean, and Caroline knew very well that I was I'm a fan of the book, and I cherish it and I look after it very nicely. But there's the 25th anniversary edition with the script in the back and lots of little bit behind the scenes stuff behind the making of the book. It's one of my favorites, and it's this nice little hardback, which well, it's not little, it's a just cracking hardback of Arkham Asylum. So that was my geeky present. Didn't get much in terms of videos and stuff this year. So no,
I didn't either. I found that there weren't that many deals out there as they had been in previous years. I was actually looking for DVDs and Blu-rays, but I wasn't, there was nothing that I was going to do. The only thing I think I bought was an Expanse season 1, which, you know, of course I had to do that.
This is Leonard's look of shock and horror.
Yeah,
got
exactly.
An Expanse. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. But I mean, but the point being is that usually I buy a stack of DVDs because it's for a variety of reasons. I actually do watch them, and I didn't this year because there weren't that many good deals out.
No.
Just, you know, so I agree with you.
For myself, it's more a case of I think anything that's decent is available on Netflix or digital download or whatever. I think that not many people are buying the DVDs or Blu-rays anymore. So it's,
we'll get into Netflix later on because they're doing some interesting stuff too when we do the television.
Yeah. Yourself, Jasmine, did you get any DVDs of note?
No, they're so expensive. And I love having like the DVD collection, you know, but this is a little pricey. I was hoping to at least get the Beauty and the Beast 25th anniversary for the movie coming out, but so I'll get that for my birthday soon. But no, they're a little pricey, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's when the director of Doctor Strange tweeted out the picture of the Steelbook for Doctor Strange. This is Scott Derrickson, and I just went, "That looks very pretty. I'm going to wait for the Phase 3 box set. Thank you very much indeed." I'll just hang fire. Thank you. Yeah, on the chat room, do let us know your favorite geek present that you got for Christmas. We'd love to hear what you landed off your loved ones. Right, so let's dive into it. We're 27 weeks away from San Diego Comic-Con 2016. 27 weeks, 3 days to go. So we can now say this year. But this is where we would usually be continuing on the headlines from CCI from last year. We'd be talking about returning Reg, the aftermath of that, and looking forward to the Open Online. At this point, we've heard nada, which is proving to be a little bit stressful for a number of people. I mean, my own personal thoughts on it is that CCI are trying to put the genie back in the bottle, trying to condense the timeline between just talking and ramping up to San Diego Comic-Con and the event itself. Now, us as fans, we start our ramp up for the next Comic-Con the Monday that the last one finished. So it's a bit awkward. But considering we've heard nothing, I think there's also been a bit of a change in terms of the social media. They're still posting their Toucan blog updates. They're still posting the Katie Cook art pieces. They're still posting all of that. And they are posting 1 or 2 updates when it comes to the Eisner Awards and also the art show, which is now open for submissions. Do go to an Englishman in San-Diego.com for an update on that. But they've also done a pop culture tweet about, I'm trying to remember what it was now. I think it was a Blade tweet or something. It seemed strange and out of character. What did you make of that, Alyssa?
I'm trying to search for it as we speak. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. I missed that.
Well,
oh, I think they did talk about Carrie Fisher and
they did.
Yeah.
Although I think it was Mark Serby that felt that it was a little bit out of place to just sort of like pimp the fact that Carrie Fisher had been to San Diego Comic-Con with a picture of her at San Diego. But I mean, let's go through.
Yeah, CCI wasn't the only person that did that. You know, sure. I think Reed Pop did that too. So it wasn't just them.
There we go. Yeah, so this was 2 days ago. One final look back at last season and a preview of the final season before the Grimm premiere tonight. It seemed out of place.
Yeah.
That it was a non-con or CCI business related update. It just seemed very out of place. And I'm just wondering if it's a new take to their social media approach, that they are now just going to have this presence online. In terms of the actual sales, I mean, what's the forum been saying about dates and stuff, and their thoughts and take on it?
Well, there's a number of things. My take on it, first off, there's a number of things that need to happen. We've got WonderCon hotels. We've got WonderCon press. We've got SDCC pre-reg or a returning reg. And we've got SDCC.
Pre-reg.
I know. Press. So there's all of these things happening, but I think the thing that's causing the most anxiety is returning reg, pre-reg, since that's the one that's most obviously not occurred yet. I am of the opinion, and I'm foistering the opinion to everybody that's on the forum, that we need to be ready. They said early 2017, yes, there is a consensus that a lot of people think it's going to happen in February. To my mind, that condenses everything, all of these 4 things into February and March, and then they've got WonderCon. So it's I don't know why they're backloading everything so intently.
It's a lot of confidence in the system they've got in place. Are you going in for pre-reg as well, Jasmine?
Yes, this will be the first time in a long time, so I'm excited.
Yeah. It just seems, no, I personally do think it's just confidence in their process they've got in place. I mean, the only thing that really fell over or has fallen over the last 2 years, in fact, if you're going to count 2, if you're going to count parking, is hotels. Hotels was the big sticking point, but when it came to the actual badge sales, I can't think of too much that went wrong on pre-reg and open online. Can you?
No, and I agree that I think that they could only have 2 or 3 weeks, 2 weeks between the two, just to allow themselves to get things sorted, and if there are any incidental problems, to make sure that things are ready for Gen Reg. I think they could do it in the early part of February and then turn around and have Gen Reg at the later part of February. It would make sense to me. But they've also got to deal with press and hotels, which usually happen at the end of March, and WonderCon. So it puts a lot of load on all of their staffing to do all of these 3 things concurrently. And it's surprising to me that they have that amount of staff.
Yeah. I mean, there's comments coming in. Thank you very much indeed for the YouTube chat. Michael P, WonderCon hotels are really late this year. He's also guessing anywhere between the 4th and the 8th. I'm not entirely sure which one he's guessing on there, because there's like I say, there's a number of things to guess on, but that's what he's guessing at. Sarita P, this is an interesting one. Maybe they're trying to throw everyone off guard. As we're going to be talking about later on, the Comic-Con or the con landscape is so unsteady and unsure at the moment as it is, the last thing we need is anything else to just throw us off guard. We need something solid, something tangible, please, to hold on to.
My feeling is that they're not doing this on purpose, that there's a reason for why they're doing it. I could understand them having a little bit more of a problem with the WonderCon hotels and the SDCC hotels, given what happened last year. I can't understand why they're delaying the badges, but there's got to be a reason for it, and eventually we'll find it out. I am hoping that Rob Stocks. How did you pronounce his last name?
Rob Salkovich.
Salkovich.
Rob Salkovich is how I'm pronouncing it. So.
Okay. Well, I knew I was going to get his last name pronounced wrong. I am hoping that his assertion on our show, I think a couple of weeks ago before Christmas, was that perhaps they were going to do a third show. He kind of made that he threw that possibility out at the very, very end. So maybe there's something else bigger going on that we don't know about yet, which is what I'm thinking. But we got to wait and see, and that's hard because I want to know.
I'm curious to see, because there was the the San Francisco show that they did, which was more for creators. It was very much more an industry show, not so much for the con culture audience. And I'm just wondering if that's going to be their third show. If they just the one they did last year was just a small intimate affair. Maybe 2017 is where they ramp that up to a major event. I do quite like a couple of the comments. Michael P. Rob is our secret weapon. It's becoming that way, isn't it? It is coming that way. Dan Berry, I booked my normal hotel for WonderCon Anaheim outside of the CCI hotel block. Hedging his bets, understandable. And Ian O'Hara, pre-reg will be in the next 24 hours. Don't you dare. Don't you even. I mean, could it actually even be that kind of thing where before they gave us some warning and now it could be a case of they could just open the doors?
I don't think so. I think that we can call it. I'm personally am calling it Wednesday afternoon. If I don't hear it if I don't hear an announcement from them by noon Pacific time on Wednesday, I think that we're pretty much safe. I mean, I keep an ear out, Wednesday afternoon and Thursday morning, but that's my sense of it. I really don't think they're trying to mess with us.
Jasmine's I'm trying to work out if that's a nervous laugh or
it's both. It's both. I'm waiting to see when they're gonna do the volunteer registration for the ones that went last year. So I'm kind of like trying to keep an ear out for both. So I'm twice as nervous because one way or another, those are one of my tickets in. So
yeah, I mean,
they usually do that. Probably March is when they do the priority volunteer, and then they go to the interest list. So I'm hoping to get in on that one.
Sure. I mean, I think press is another thing that's really late this year.
Yes, absolutely. And usually don't they try, and you would know this better than I, Leonard, but don't they usually try and get press done prior to Gen Reg so people they don't have to buy a badge for Gen Reg?
Yep. Pretty much. And that's what I'm thinking they're going to do with the returning volunteers too.
To Jasmine, is that hopefully we're going to get notification, and we do have a full week, or we have had a full week for returning volunteers to register. So it's not like we've all got to jump in on that. So
I know that we do kind of talk about press a little bit, maybe too much, because we do attend as press, but it does kind of like it's useful to talk to for everybody else because it talks about the timeline. In fact, I mean, the fact that they haven't talked about press yet, they haven't talked about panels which would be around this time. They haven't started the mechanics yet of actually put boots on the floor at the convention. That's why we're a little bit concerned. That's why I'm just wondering. We've got Michael P. Logic is impeccable. I'm guessing talking about you, Alyssa. Is Comic-Con listening? I mean, it's a very good question. I think
they have been known to listen in the past, which is really scary.
Yeah, I think it is just more a case of the fact that it's just taking so long for them to ramp up when there's other stuff that will be in the background. I mean, yes, they have updated about the art show submissions. Yes, they have updated their information about the Eisner Awards, but that's stuff that would be usually in place. That's the building blocks. We're now just talking about the actual tent poles, as it were, the stuff that also supports the convention. So yeah, I'm very curious. Did SDCC get drunk for the holidays? I don't think it's that bad. I don't think they're there. I don't think it's quite there. We just need SDCC to update outlet for my press badge so I can start freaking out or stop freaking out. Okay, Andy. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I mean, people are now just wanting to get on with it. I think that's where we're at. So yeah, we will of course keep our eyes on all of their social media. It is mostly a case of keeping an eye on their Twitter. That's usually their first port of call. So do of course have your notifications turned on for comic_con on Twitter. Dan Berry, from a source who works for CCI, there's been no programming set up for this year. It's another thing, like I say, it's just the stuff that needs to be in place. So yeah, anything else we can talk about this? We can't really talk about until we hear from Comic-Con.
No, I don't think there particularly is at this point, aside from just having everybody needs to just tune in on Wednesdays and Thursdays and make sure that you're in the loop and that you know what's going to happen. I will say, on a personal note, I was accepted for press at the ReedPop show, Emerald City Comic-Con. So we will be doing a broadcast from there. But again, I have this problem of I bought a 4-day ticket and they don't do return badges. So yeah, so you know, it's one of those nice things that CCI does is to try and get press in before we have to actually put the cash out for the regular badge, which I'm hoping they do again this year.
Fair enough. So. I mean, are there any? Which other cons do you attend, Jasmine? I mean, in terms of preparation for your convention year. I mean, what other ones do you go to?
Last year I went to
definitely in the timetable.
I went to the amazing Arizona Comic-Con. I went to the Phoenix Fan Fest that they had in December and lately in October. And then I kind of just go to little weekend shows here and there. Yeah, so Phoenix Comicon is really the one that I tried to really prep for. Last year was really busy. It was pretty close to reminding me of San Diego. So I'm looking forward to that growing more. But yeah, mostly, and Amazing Arizona Comic-Con is not going to be out here this year, so I'm kind of sad. So
well, it's a nice segue into Phoenix.
It is,
I guess. I suppose the question I want to ask then is because Phoenix is not a non-profit, it's a small independent con. What's their ramp up to their event like? Do they have plenty of lead time? Do you have chance to kind of organize yourself for that event, or is it very last minute? What's the
there's usually plenty of time. They have the time with the passes, and then every so often they'll raise the price. Media pass, I usually know if I'm approved within a couple of months, so that's always a good thing. And then they do the street teams, they go out to events, the social media, you know, they try to keep us updated on the guests and whatnot. And then as a volunteer, they have the all hands meeting once a month. So that's always nice to kind of keep on top of what we may miss on social media and whatnot. So there's a lot of variables to prep up for Phoenix Comic-Con for the bigger show, San Diego. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
In terms of on the floor, how many volunteers are there, just out of curiosity?
A lot. I worked the exhibitor hall, so I don't see them much, But I know there's a lot down there, and we're all trying to make sure the exhibitors are doing good and the vendors. And but there's a few. I think there's about 1,500 last year. So I'm thinking they'll probably keep it around the same, if not 14 total. So I like the exhibitor hall, but I don't really see them a lot because I'm always walking around and I'm working and looking at everything that it has to offer and whatnot. So yeah.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, I think an event kind of rises and falls on its volunteer base. The people that come along, they are the army that serve a convention, that really keep the wheels turning and everyone happy. And it's always great when there's lots of happy volunteers at a convention.
Yes,
until you charge them.
Yeah.
Which is where we're now going into the announcement. Yeah, let's segue into this. This was the announcement from Phoenix Comicon about a week and a half ago now, which has just pretty much dominated chat when it comes to con culture, because it could also show as an indicator perhaps for other conventions. The general idea is, if I can boil it down into a nutshell, there is a fan group which was set up by a number of the organizers of Phoenix Comic-Con called the Blue Ribbon Group. This is a fan group which supports Phoenix Comic-Con and the other events that the organizers put on as well. As part of the organization for Phoenix Comic-Con, what they're now doing is they're pulling from the membership of Blue Ribbon to be volunteers at Phoenix Comic-Con and the other events. I think Phoenix Comic-Con is their test bed for this. The only thing is, you have to be a paid member of the Blue Ribbon group, which starts anywhere from $20 all the way up to $100, depending on the level of membership that you apply for, which effectively means you have to pay to be a volunteer. That's a very baseline nugget of what is actually happening. There's lots of other little things that kind of are in there, which in terms of you do get, I believe there's some kickbacks, some preferential things that you get when it comes to tiers of the membership. I mean, the feedback to this has been phenomenal, both negative and positive. What's your experience, Jasmine, in terms of the people you spoke to? Because I know that the moment that the announcement got made, you really got involved in this and started really digging around. What was your take on it?
I did. I was really glad I got an article up so fast. I was so proud of myself. You know, when I did the article, I got some pushback for it from some people in the group, and I wasn't used to that. And some were calling it clickbait and whatnot. But it's not that I'm just a random geek site that wanted to get a story. I've been volunteering there since 2014, and I'm passionate about volunteering at Comic-Cons, and I like Phoenix Comic-Con. And to some people, and even sometimes me, $20 can seem like $200. Aside from the parking, the stuff you get, the photo ops, everything else, it just seems like a lot. And to be part of a group that you don't, like, you just hang out on Facebook, but you don't really not associate with, but hang out with for being socially awkward through the year, you're only paying the $20 for Phoenix. So my feathers were a bit ruffled, and I think the way that they rolled it out, I think they realized, like, oh wow, we should have did that a little differently, and they definitely underestimated the feedback that they were getting. So yeah.
I presume you also got, I got forwarded the email that was sent out. Is it Michael? I know I'm gonna get his name. Matt. I knew I was gonna get his name wrong. And he in that email he turned around and said that he felt that that perhaps the whole thing really was a storm in a teacup. It's not, just to let you know, dude. But he felt that it was overstated, and he also felt that perhaps they could have done better in terms of rolling this out. What's the ticket prices usually for Phoenix?
I think right now they're $55 for 4 days. And that was one of the pros, was you're only paying $20 instead of $55, but it's like, well, some would probably rather pay $55 or, and not worry about it, but then some would rather volunteer and, you know, not have to pay that. So there was definitely a lot of pros and cons I've seen. Was kind of warming up to the idea, but I'm still like, I don't know about the $20. And, you know, they're saying you're forcing people to donate to this 501(c)(7). And it's like, no, you don't have to, but it's like, yeah, I kind of want to volunteer for Phoenix Comic-Con. So you have to be a member. So it was really sticky. And I went to like a meeting on Saturday, and they said that they could have rolled it out differently. They definitely underestimated the, you know, how they rolled it out and the reaction it would have.
Sure.
So I'm still kind of on the fence about it. You know, I probably would do it just to tell other people about it. And like, hey, you know, you want to pay 20, like you have to be here. But they also specify that was an introductory rate. So there's no guarantee that next year in 2018, it could just be $20. It could go up because
that's the other question I wanted to ask as well. I mean, are you a member of the Facebook group as well? I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
So how many members of Blue Ribbon Group are there?
I want to say, I'm not sure. It's 11,000, I think. I'm thinking
basic maths here. People could join the group and pay their membership fee with the intention of volunteering to kind of get their ticket cheaper and still not get in because
and that was
there's the numbers.
That was the thing too, was, you know, you're paying $20, you're not guaranteed. And when I had kind of brought that up, one of it was, if you already volunteer, you're already qualified, so you'll be fine. But I was talking about like the people, like, let's say Joe and Susie, who want to volunteer at their first Comic-Con, they're going to have to pay the 20. How are we going to know if they're going to be qualified or, you know, experienced enough to be approved for the Comic-Con volunteering process? So, yeah. It's a little bit sticky there.
Yeah, I know. Alyssa, you were going to trying to say something.
It's kind of interesting because actually in Matthew Solenberg's letter, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Yeah. What he talked about was the changing labor laws, which affect all of the conventions, all of the for-profit conventions, in that they couldn't take volunteers, and that's why they did what they did. Now, they could have rolled that out a hell of a lot better than they did. Absolutely. You know, there's no question about that. And he even said that they did a poor job about that. But the fact of the matter is that because of the labor laws, all of the for-profit conventions now have to pay their volunteers, which it changes the matrix of everything. My question is, why don't they move to a 501c corp, a volunteer, a nonprofit? If you're a nonprofit like San Diego is, then you can have unpaid volunteers or pay them in a T-shirt, that kind of, you know, or for badges, that kind of a thing. So some of these, so I think that kind of gets lost in the message of the Blue Ribbon organization.
Blue Ribbon Army,
yeah. I mean, why is the membership? And the question that if I were you, Jasmine, that I would have is, why is the entrance fee to Blue Ribbon so expensive? Why is that $20? What do they need that $20 for?
Well, they were talking about the prices, you know, like, hey, let's just have it $5 or $10 for the Phoenix Comic-Con only staff. And what it was is they needed to look at the needs of the Blue Ribbon Army as their own organization. So that $20 or the $50 or $100 or the tiers they have goes to the funds that they want to do as an organization, the Blue Ribbon Army, throughout the year. So they thought $20, it would benefit them as well as an organization, and they considered, but not 100%, that, okay, we're only here to staff Phoenix Comic-Con, but we're here to do our own thing as an organization of 501c3. And I think that's why they made it $20.
Sure. I mean, it's also been pointed out. I've put a link in the YouTube chat, and I beat Alyssa to it. Damn it! She's gonna hate me for that.
No, go.
Yeah, I have put a link. This was to Rob's piece on ICV2. As mentioned in there, it does mention that Dragon Con has been using this model for a while. It's also been mentioned by Michael P, I believe. Someone, sorry, yeah, it was Michael P that mentioned it. One thing that Michael also pointed out, which I think does kind of work, actually I think it was Scott Angus as well, I'm up for it if it puts people in place who actually want to help out. It gives a level of commitment, but at the end of the day, that's not what volunteer means. That's paid staff. There's a financial transaction there, and if anything, it's going in the other direction, which kind of confuses the issue. That's where I think the kerfuffle has come up over the last week and a half. Sorry, I'm just going to use words now. Kerfuffle. There you go. I mean, in O'Hara, I love volunteering at San Diego Comic-Con. You meet lots of great people, and I love getting a shirt. It's really cool.
But the thing is that about San Diego versus Reed Pop, those are the two that I know about volunteering for. If you volunteer at Reed Pop, if you're on part of their crew, you get paid, but I think you're putting in like an 8-hour shift.
Yeah.
You know, you're putting in a significant amount of time, unlike San Diego, where you've got a 4-hour shift and you get a T-shirt and you get the badge for the day. So you know, it's a lot more friendly to volunteer at San Diego than it is to volunteer at the Reed Pop shows. How long are the shifts at the Phoenix convention?
They're usually about 4 to 6. Usually about 4 to 6. It seems like a lot longer by the time you get there and the time you actually get to leave or your coverage comes in. But it's about 6. And when I first volunteered at Phoenix, it was completely different than San Diego. I mean, San Diego, you show up, get your badge, do your shift, and move on with life. You know, Phoenix, you got the name tag, which I thought was pretty awesome, and you definitely got a lot of benefits. So I was like, oh my God, I have a name tag. This is great. And you definitely get a lot for the time you put in and a cool T-shirt. So that's about, I think I usually do the 6-hour ones, and they have it to where over the course of 4 or 5 days, if you put in, I think the required is about 20 hours. If you have Sunday, Monday, or Saturday, Sunday, and you did all your shift work Wednesday through Friday, you have those 2 days just to have your staff badge and do whatever you want. So I don't know if they'll be changing those.
It also feels like you're definitely feeling invested in it. You're feeling part of the team that organized it.
Yes.
It's part of, yeah.
I mean, I try to go on the meetings that they have once a month whenever I can. And, you know, and I love Phoenix Comicon. And I met a lot of exhibitors that, you know, I talk with my site now. So, you know, it's definitely not just showing up and getting the T-shirt and going. Although San Diego, that's what I love about it too. You know, you're also investing in time and people and meeting people. And it can also help you on your outside life for the day jobs and whatnot. So, yeah, I definitely think I invest a lot of time when I'm there. So it's kind of, when they roll out stuff a little different, it's kind of like, hey, what are you guys doing? So, yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the comments. Michael P feeling that the volunteers at Comic-Con are totally committed on their current model. But Michael P, do the math. Figure your time at minimum wage. Okay. That makes if you start hey, listen, if you start introducing common sense and math into the thing, that's when it all falls apart. So
I was never good at math, so
that's why you're a great volunteer.
Well, they had talked about that at the meeting. I think now with the feedback that they got, they were looking at rather more than a second of paid staff instead of just volunteering. So I think they put that back on the table with the feedback they got from, hey, paying $20. So, you know, for $20, you get the benefits of the Blue Ribbon Army and the benefits of Phoenix Comic-Con, because they're technically 2 separate entities. And you get the benefits of all of that compared to if you do minimum wage. Well, out here in Arizona, I think it's like $8. So I'm like, I'd rather get more than $8 worth of stuff. So I think that's kind of like, oh, we didn't think of that. So, yeah.
Just out of curiosity, as I don't visit the Facebook group as often as perhaps I should do to keep an eye on this, but you might know this more. Do you know if there have been people, there has been an uptake on people who have joined the Blue Ribbon Army for the volunteer pass? Has there been an uptake on numbers?
I think there has, and definitely with their big number, I think all of this news brought out people that don't usually, so to speak, interact, and they just kind of scroll through, and then you have some of the people that just go in there and just, I don't want to say irritate everybody, but it's like, hey, we're still civilized people, it's Facebook. But I think it's definitely brought out a lot of the people that don't usually say anything on Facebook, and to an extent it's a good thing, and then it's kind of like, well, that's why you keep scrolling kind of thing. So I think there's been an uptake in it. So yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. So yeah, has there been much chatter on the forum about this, Alyssa? I mean, what's been the general take on the forum from the outside world of looking into this?
I'm going to quote one of our members, Liberty Rocks, who says, quote unquote, "This is absurd. Volunteering means you're not getting paid and giving up your free time. Asking people to pay for a chance of a possibility of getting the privilege of not getting paid is just wrong." Yes.
Nicely worded.
Nicely worded, absolutely. So that was the sentiment until Matthew posted his oh my God, long letter. I think the quote, one of the beating comics beat said, Salzburg's staff memo was what Tolstoy was to Russian family life.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So having actually read a Tolstoy book at one point in my long misspent youth, yeah. The point being, though, is that I think that more people understood why Phoenix did what they did in having to deal with these new labor laws. My biggest gripe of all, two biggest gripes of all of this are, what are they doing? What is this blue group doing with the $20? And why does it have to be so expensive if you just want to volunteer for a Comic-Con? That doesn't make any sense to me. And I understand that they're using it to promote their own group, but let's lay it out. Tell me what I'm going to get for that $20 in addition to being able to volunteer. And the other thing,
I'm just going to say, if it really is just purely for the privilege of applying for volunteership, that's incredibly out of order. I mean, they've got an Etsy store, for God's sake. They are raising cash.
Well, the thing too that I was concerned about with the $50 and $100 tiers, or the $40 and $100, is who's to say that they're not just going to pick the ones that are paying more money to be a staff? I mean, they can say they're not, but it's like we honestly really don't know to get more money for next year, compared to the people that just want to slip in the 20 just to volunteer at Comic-Con. So that was also one of my concerns, is if you pay 50 or 100, are you more likely to be a staff member? That was one of my, I don't know about that, because, people say something and do something completely different. So that was another concern.
It makes complete sense to me.
What are the tiers, just out of curiosity?
I think it's the $20, which is the introductory. I think the second one is $40 and then $100. So I think that was the three that they're looking at. So who knows, next year it could probably be $30, $40, and we'll do all this again and have a first show in 2018.
Well, it very well could be. But the bigger picture here, I think, is that you've got a whole bunch of these small conventions, these small regional conventions like Phoenix and Boston Comic-Con, these small, not associated to the larger Reed Pop Fan Expo and all of that are either being swallowed up by the fan expos out there, and they're positioning themselves so that they can be bought. If I'm making myself clear here. So if they were to make them themselves a volunteer organization, a 501c organization, they couldn't be bought by a for-profit entity, is my understanding of how this works. I'm not sure. I don't know. But that means that they can't turn around and reap the profits 5 years down the road. For example, Boston Comic-Con started about 10 years ago. They're having their 10-year anniversary. They are a for-profit organization. Last year, they were sold. They sold themselves to Fan Expo. Their Fan Expo is now coming in, have upped the prices on all of the tables, moved the convention, and there's a decidedly different vibe going on for my small regional convention, which I'm kind of bummed about. So I think it goes into kind of the bigger. There is a bigger picture aspect of this, of what is happening, and it's unfortunate that Phoenix Con isn't taking the high road and doing the going nonprofit like San Diego has done, CCI has done.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, have you written a report about the meeting, or do you keep that to yourself, Jasmine? Do you write reports about the meetings?
I haven't been able to move that fast yet because I got off work last night, so I haven't gathered all my notes
I would
yet.
be very interested. I think not just myself. I think there'll be a number of sites that would be interested to hear what was actually discussed at the, because
yeah, I couldn't decide if it was like super classified info or so I'm kind of like, what do I do?
That's a good point. At the end of the day,
right?
I mean, someone I think it was Andy who was saying what Facebook group. It's the 11,901 members. It's Blue Ribbon Army, but it is a closed Facebook group. So yeah.
Yeah, you have to like request to be in it. Yeah. So I was hoping to get something up because it kind of smoothed the waters. I mean, at least with the second email that he sent out, and actually put some articles of, hey, this is kind of why we're doing what we're doing, instead of we didn't have 500 people show up kind of thing.
Fair enough. Let's have a look. Michael P. I would just prefer that they pay their staff. Would you tolerate this in other business? So perfectly good point. Scott Angus, I really don't think this group should have to change their membership policies just for a con. It's more on the con too in this situation. I think that's a very good point. They should, at the end of the day, it's if you're going to have staff there, pay the staff. To volunteer for 8 hours and more, then you are actually putting in a full day's work and should be paid. It's not volunteering anymore, it's a job. That's from Sarita P. Bloody good point. I mean, it's like Alyssa says, and I also agree that you have that morning or you have the afternoon. It's 3 hours at San Diego, 4 hours at San Diego, and then you have the rest of the day. And that is a give take. That's the thing that you're giving. You're giving your time, but to actually then pay cash for the privilege, I think is a bit. It's uncertain, and I still think we're seeing the ripples of this. And like you say, there are other meetings taking place, and there's more to happen. Phoenix takes place in
Memorial Weekend this year, May.
There we go. Okay, excellent stuff. Anything else that we can add, Alyssa? I think we've pretty much talked it out.
I'm set.
I think we're done. Okay. I mean, is there anything else that you want to add, Jasmine, just to kind of bookend?
No, I was going to try to get more involved in posting stuff, since there's a lot of passionate people out there about the volunteering. And since I've been doing it for so long, it's not just, hey, go to my site and read this article. I'm passionate about it. Sure. And I want to see Phoenix Comic-Con and exceed whatever they do, and best of luck implementing whatever they choose, of course. I wish them best of luck with that, because overall they are a business and it's the nonprofit group. So whatever decision they make, hopefully I wish them the best of luck with that. So
fair enough. I mean, I did send a message to Matt, hoping that he would be able to come on and talk directly on the Hangout. If he does reply to my emails, hopefully we may get him on in the next couple of weeks. That would be good to actually hear from the horse's mouth, as it were. What exactly I mean, we know what their thinking is. It's now a case of just clarifying. It's like you say, I think the waters are a little bit too muddied at this point. So I think it's there's a lot of, I mean, I think strangely enough, the fandom itself of Phoenix Comic-Con are getting it and everyone else isn't. because everyone else is just really concerned that this could be a model that could get introduced.
Yeah, that's what they said. If you're already in it and have already been associating yourself with the group, so to speak, they're kind of like, it's no problem. But if you see them on the outside, it kind of seems like a clique, or kind of like, what are you guys doing in there? So that was the thing is, you know, it can kind of seem like a clique to some people, and I was never the biggest fan of cliques, but it's just that's kind of it's looking in the group like what's going on over there, and yeah, so we'll
Fair
see.
enough. Yeah,
I will just say to people, if you do have any questions, please read Matt Solenberg's letter.
That's going to be awkward because it was a private email. It was an email that was sent out to, I believe, Blue Ribbon Army members, and because
so it was classified.
I don't know if it was classified. It was forwarded on to me, but yeah. Likewise yourself, Alyssa. I think
you'll find it on the internet somewhere, I'm sure. In another group.
Yeah, I'm going to actually post it on the thingy.
There we go.
Yeah,
it's somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's on my forum.
Don Berry is saying it was a press release. It wasn't classified. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
It is on my forum on the thread for it.
Fair enough. So it's out there. It's out there already. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Right. Okay. Do head to Friends of CC for more information about this as the story develops, and of course, do follow Jasmine on superheroes.xyz. You can also find her on Twitter at superheroes.xyz. Don't disappear just yet. That was just to let people know where to find the story later on. Okay. Right. Let's wrap the show up then with just some a week in TV, I suppose. And also highlights of what's upcoming. Considering it is Golden Globes tonight, go Westworld. You know you can do it. Westworld, come on, Fandy, you know it's worth it. So yeah, we've got the Golden Globes tonight.
Well, I was going to ask you if you caught the Doctor Who and the Sherlock episodes. If anybody caught them.
Sherlock, yes. Doctor Who, not so much. I've got Doctor Who on DVR. This last season, it just hasn't grabbed me at all. But I think it's more a case of Stephen Moffat now writing for grown-ups who remember Doctor Who first time round and are now on a kind of retrospective kick. Whereas you did have Doctor Who that was being written for a brand new audience. It's now a little bit too chasing its tail, in my opinion. It's certainly not self-contained. It's a little bit too self-referential. But I am hoping to catch it with Doctor Who and also with the special. Sherlock, however, I enjoyed immensely. I really did. I enjoyed that show a lot. There were a number of people concerned that it was a little bit too actiony and a little bit too. It wasn't Sherlock solving a mystery. But it was. I mean, okay, he fought an ex-forces guy and managed to survive somehow. I don't know how that quite works, but other than that, I had a lot of fun with it. I liked the fact that it was a take on these 6 Napoleons, which is a classic short from Conan Doyle. So there was something there for the classic fans. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's got. The one thing I also like about it is that it is a mini movie, right? The production value is right there up on screen. I'm a big fan of that, and the performances are all great. A couple of character shifts in there, which I wasn't spectacularly happy about.
Exactly.
Mr. Watson. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
A bit weird. Don't worry. Yeah. Karen Session saying no spoilers. We're not doing spoilers. We don't do that. Not on this show. But we just have our opinions. I would say it's worth watching. I'm very much up for the second episode tonight in 2 hours' time. Yeah, and the other thing as well, I do know that in the States it's not shown around the same time as here in the UK. So just stay off Twitter. In about 2 hours' time.
Yeah.
Stay off Twitter and social media. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Graham Small, he dies in the end. Shut up, you. Shut up.
Not cool. Not cool.
Scott Angus just started watching Sherlock for the first time. Great show. Right, so I mean, yeah, I mean, what's been catching your interest, Alyssa?
Those two shows were definitely on my must-watch list. Not so much the Doctor Who. I'm kind of like trying to remember what that was about. That was 2 weeks ago.
That's not good.
That's not good. Yeah, exactly. But the Sherlock, absolutely, especially the ending of the Sherlock. And I am glad that it's, you know, that there's 3 or 4 episodes this season. Although I would like it to go longer, but you know, it's nice, and as you say, it's condensed, it's a one shot, and you get the complete story, which is a good thing. I also happened to catch, did you see Emerald City?
No, I haven't. I don't know if it's come out over here yet, so we haven't seen it. We haven't been blessed. Jasmine, you're looking excited there. Jasmine, have you seen it?
No, I've seen some previews for it. It looks like something I may check out. They did one like that a while ago, the Tin Man on Sci-Fi, and it was really good. So I'm interested to see this rendition of it.
I'm up for it, if anything, for Vincent D'Onofrio. Anything that man's in, I'm there with bells on, because I'm a fan.
I was able to watch it last night. They aired the first 2 episodes of it, and I notoriously like everything, but it held my interest for 2 hours, which says a lot, because I tend not to watch the second hour of a show if I'm not interested in it. I cared about Dorothy.
You're so brutal.
I cared about Dorothy. I cared about the straw man. I would recommend watching it. It is interesting in that it was shot like Peter. It was shot like the the Tolkien books were. Sorry, I had that on my mind.
Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, I believe, is what you're trying to say.
Yes, where I'm stretching. Well, it was shot in that manner. So all 10 episodes, it's a 10-episode series, and all 10 episodes were shot at once. So they didn't shoot it in order like the normal TV productions are. So they were able to shoot all of the scenes in one particular area at once. It's a gorgeous production values, brilliant visual show that I would highly encourage people to watch. It is a little bit on the mystical side, fantasy side, which is not my overwhelming cup of tea, be more hard science fiction, but I would recommend trying to catch up with it. We do have there's a few upcoming shows that are worth checking out this week. One from Netflix. But let me digress. Netflix, over the course of this past 3 weeks, have really brought it with all of their shows. I think somebody mentioned the OA in the comment in the chat area. They've really made a huge play. Second season of Man in the High Castle.
That's on Amazon Prime, isn't it?
Well, it is on Amazon Prime. Sorry. They've got Lemony Snicket coming out this week, which, yes, has Neil Patrick Harris. And I've seen some clips.
Boyfriend.
Yeah, I've seen some clips from that, and it looks to be really fun. So that's going to be coming out, I believe, next Friday.
Yeah. The only issue I've got with Lemony Snicket is that it does look incredibly styled off the film adaptation instead of being its own entity. But the cast look incredible. The stories are always fantastic. If anything, what they'll do is they'll just it looks like what they'll do is they'll just remake the film and then just keep going, which I have no problem with. But it's a shame that it doesn't have enough of its own voice, unfortunately. But no, I'm very much looking forward to that. That's my that's on my go-to list.
That certainly is the highlight, but there's two other shows that are coming out this week. One is called Taboo, and it is on FX. It's done by Ridley Scott. Very 19th century, early 1800s kind of a show. Very gritty, very moody. I've seen some good reviews and I've seen some bad reviews about it. So I'm going to give it a shot because I like those kinds of gritty 1800s kind of shows, but it may not be for everybody because it is so slow moving, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's one that's going to breathe. This was on BBC One. It's a co-BBC production. It's a BBC FX co-production. It was shown first episode on UK yesterday. I've got it on DVR, and it will be what I will be going to see when I go home. It's Tom Hardy.
Exactly.
Tom Hardy, Una Chaplin, Jonathan Pryce. You can't fail with a cast like that. And Stephen Knight as well, which always helps.
It was a well-known reviewer that did not like it. So that was kind of, why I'm kind of hedging my bets on that. I am interested to hear what you have to say about it next week.
Fair enough.
Though Taboo, it is the name of the show, and I forget what date it's coming on. The last one.
In the States, it's Tuesday, 10th of January.
Tuesday. The last show is on is Sneaky Pete, and it is on. Oh, I had it here. Yeah, where is Sneaky Pete?
Stinky Pete was in Toy Story.
No, Sneaky Pete. It's
okay.
Brian.
That's
it's
why
a
you
Brian
can't find
Cranston. Yeah, no, it's a Brian. No, I had it in here, and then somebody did the editing, and I've misplaced where it's going to be. It's Sneaky Pete is a Brian Cranston story, which is and Giovanni Ribalsi. It's a gritty, lighthearted series that centers on two con men. Effectively, Giovanni is in prison with somebody. He takes over his identity. He's a con man. He owes people money. Brian Cranston is, I believe, one of the gentlemen that he owes money to. It looks to be very kind of lighthearted and fun, yet gritty mixture. So it's another one to absolutely watch this week. And I will find out who it's from if you give me half of a second.
Well, we'll take that time to go over to Jasmine. What shows are you watching at the moment? What are you keeping your eyes open for?
I need to binge watch like everything. I was into Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl. I think the one that I actually watch when it does come on is Supernatural. That's the one I'm most looking forward to. But yeah, I need to just binge watch. I work a graveyard shift, so I sleep during the day, and then I don't really get to watch anything. So I'm going to have to change that for 2017. But Supernatural, and just hopefully catch up on all the DC shows, because I love what they're doing. I need to watch them, but I love what they're doing.
Fair enough. Let's go to very quickly with the chat room. Andy Bayback, this will be of interest to you, Jasmine. Speaking of Flash and Supergirl, all the CW DC shows have been renewed. So there's that
right on.
There you go. So let's go from the top of the list. We've got the OA. Yeah, I'm about halfway through the third episode, and if it doesn't pick up soon, I may be struggling. But I've been told it does. Then again, I've also been told that the ending's a bit meh. So I need to, who knows? I need to get into that. Emerald City, I am going to be looking forward to. Someone's going to have to tell me what Beyond is, because I've heard of this thing, but I've been hearing great things, but I don't know what it is. So if someone can let me know what that is. Same with Travelers. I've been told that that's very good. That's currently on Netflix. Craig Linders is about 3/4 of the way through. Can't stop watching. Loves the mix of characters. Sleepy Hollow started back up this week, says Angela Copley. Loves the new direction. you're going to have to let us know what kind of direction they've gone with, because it did seem like it was getting a little bit stale. So anything to wake that up. Let's have a look. Constantine is an animated series on CW Online. Get in! I am down with that.
Right on.
I am down with that. Let's have a look. Beyond is on Freeform, formerly ABC Family. That's not a good sign. So yeah, you're gonna have to let us know what that's all about. So I'm gonna have to look into that. But Travelers is the one that I have been hearing good things about. So I'm gonna have to chase those up. Did you manage to find that info?
Sneaky Pete is on Amazon Prime. The other show that's coming back this week is Colony. Woohoo! Which is one of my big shows that I really like too. So
I think the other one I wanted to check out again was Timeless. I love the time traveling, although sometimes it's hard for me to keep up. But I really like how they go back in time and the outfits and everything from the creator Supernatural. So he has like a lot of little supernatural eggs in there. So I like that one too.
Is that the show where I've been hearing that they're casting an actor to play a young George Lucas?
Probably.
Is that the one?
Probably. I haven't heard that, but I have no doubt.
That caught my attention. I'm going to go back and do, yeah, okay, fair enough. Sneaky Pete, crime drama. Yeah, okay. I'm up for that. Interesting cast. And yeah, okay, cool. Excellent. So there you go. That's Week in Television. I haven't watched a great deal. I'm going to be catching up with a lot of shows that we've been talking about today. So there we go. Like I say, the Golden Globes is tonight. I think I've already told you what I would like to win, but I think there's we have talked about this for the back end of last year. We're in the golden age of television. It's not a secret anymore. The quality, any single one of the shows that is up for nominations this year deserves to win, because it's just top notch across the board. But I want Westworld, so there you go. That's the way it works. Go on, Alyssa.
I think it's kind of more, isn't it? Aren't the Golden Globes more about movies?
I thought it was TV as well.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm looking at Manchester by the Sea, Hacksaw Ridge, Moonlight, Hell or High Water. So Denzel Washington, yes. Casey Affleck.
We haven't talked about the films that we've seen as well. Very quickly, I'll just do quick pocket reviews. Just quick pocket reviews.
Okay.
No, these are also in Golden Globes front run as well.
Okay, this is why we never a half an hour.
I know. Very quick. No, these are like sentences. Passengers, confusing. In terms of tone, in terms of character, and in terms of motivation, it's a bit ropey. There's stuff going on there that makes you feel very uncomfortable, but it's very pretty to look at, and it does the job. Same drill. It's very pretty to look at Assassin's Creed, but that's also slightly ropey. That's more to do with the script. It's a little bit too far up its own bum. So there's that. Unfortunately, it just needed to be a little bit more fun.
So the one comment that I got about Assassin's Creed out of my 17-year-old who's a huge Assassin's Creed fan is, why can't they just keep the camera in one spot for more than a minute? Because apparently there was a lot of the moving around going on.
Hey, listen, at least it's better than some out there. It still looks pretty. It still looks good. It's okay. It's all right. Okay. What else was there? There was another. Oh, yeah. The film of my festive season, finally managed to get to see it, Arrival. If you've not seen that film yet, my God, you need to sort that out. Especially if you are hard sci-fi, or in fact, what you can do is you can actually just remove the sci-fi out of it. It's just a great story about what it means to know your destiny and whether you would actually change anything about it, and to embrace your life. That's it's a hell of a message. I'm a big fan of that film.
I'm glad you finally listened to me and Mark and went and saw that movie. I just had to get that in there.
Fair enough. Okay.
Love you,
Right.
Leonard. Hugs.
Excellent stuff. Let's wrap this up then. So, Alyssa, where can people find you online?
My Twitter handle is @friendsofcci, and you can find me on the forum. My handle is Alyssa, and I'm on the forum at friendsofcc.com/forum.
Excellent stuff. Yes, just to know. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit distracted by because I've had a message. The message is saying it is TV and film. So we've got best television series up for grabs: The Crown, Game of Thrones, yeah, Stranger Things, rocks. This Is Us, Westworld, yeah. So there we go. Right. Okay. So yeah, where can people find you, Jasmine?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at superheroes.xyz, on Facebook too /superheroes.xyz, and then my actual site www.superheroes.xyz.
Pretty simple. There you go.
Right?
none of this taking off letters and putting on letters at the end for her, Alyssa. Excellent stuff. I'm going to be paying close attention to that account. I really want to see the development of the Phoenix story. So please do keep us up to date on that.
Cool.
So excellent. And thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Yes, thank you for inviting me. This was great.
That's cool. And for myself, you can find me on Twitter, Englishman SDCC. You can find me there on Instagram and also on various Tumblr, various other social medias, or indeed you can just keep up to date with what I'm doing at anenglishmaninsandiego.com. Thank you very much indeed. We're back again next week. Hopefully I'll be announcing who our guest is in the next couple of days. We're still trying to finalize what that's all about. But in the meantime, enjoy Sherlock, enjoy the Golden Globes tonight, enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you next Sunday for another Talkin Comic-Con. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.